My greetings to everyone. I'm Professor Namita Rajput, Professor in Department of Commerce, Sri Aurobindo College, University of Delhi. In the ongoing series of emotional intelligence, today we will be talking on the very different aspect, that is leadership and emotional intelligence. Let's have a recap of certain concepts to move on to this particular aspects. Leadership is a very special ability to influence and guide others towards the achieved and a shared goal. It's like being the captain of a ship, where the leader inspires and motivates their crew to work together in harmony, ensuring everyone is aligned with the destination. A good leader provides a very clear direction, unwavering support, and also the encouragement, helping the team navigate the challenges and celebrate the successes along the way. Now, according to Peter Drucker, who is a renowned management expert, he explains that leadership is fundamentally about the influence. It's not about holding a little or occupying a position of power, but about attracting the people who believe in your vision and willingly choose to follow you because they trust your purpose and your direction. Now, according to John Maxwell, a respected leadership author, he emphasizes that leadership goes beyond the hierarchy or the conduct. The true leadership lies in the ability to inspire and persuade others to work collaboratively towards a common goal. Now, it's about building the connections, fostering the trust, and empowering the people to realize their potential while contributing to the success of the team. Now, let's move on to the different types of leadership style. The leadership styles reflect how the leaders interact with their teams, they make decisions and inspire others. Now, emotional intelligence plays a very key role in determining the effectiveness of each style. Now, here is an overview of some major leadership styles. The first is transformational leadership definition. The transformational leadership inspires and motivates their team to achieve extraordinary results by appealing to their values, the sense of purpose, and the higher aspirations. They create a shared vision and empower others to take the ownership of their roles. Now, EI connection. The transformational leaders, they rely on the high emotional intelligence to connect with their teams on a deep emotional level. They build the trust, inspire the loyalty, communicate a compelling vision with the empathy and the social awareness. Their ability to manage emotions help them foster the motivation and resilience even during the challenges. Now, let us give an example. Martin Luther King, the exemplified transformational leader, by inspiring the civil rights movements. His ability to articulate a very powerful vision, coupled with the empathy and understanding of the social issues, mobilized the millions towards the shared goal of equality. The second is your transactional leadership. The transactional leadership focuses on setting the very clear goals, define the roles, and establishing the rewards of the punishment based on the performance. They emphasize the structure, accountability, and the meeting specific targets. Now, what are the EI connections? Through the transactional leadership is often perceived as less emotional driven. Emotional intelligence is still very crucial. The effective transactional leaders use the EI, that is the emotional intelligence, to understand the employee's motivation level. They provide the constructive feedback, and they also address the performance issues with the sensitive and fairness. They recognize the value of the tailored communication to maintain the morality and also the productivity. Let's take an example. A sales manager, they set the specific sales target for their team, offers a bonus for exceeding them, and ensures a regular feedback sessions to track the progress. Now, this very clear structure motivates the team while fostering a result-driven environment. Now, coming on to the third type of leadership style and its connect with the EI, that is emotional intelligence. The servant leader prioritize the growth and well-being of their team members. They focus on empowering others, fostering a collaborative environment, and also creating a sense of community. The servant leaders led by the example and place the need of their team above their own. Now moving on to EI connections. The servant leadership heavily relies on the emotional intelligence, empathy, actively listening, and the social awareness are very critical for understanding and addressing the needs of the team members. By fostering the trust and emotional safety, the servant leaders create an environment where the individuals they feel valued and motivated to contribute their best. Now let's take an illustration here. A manager who regularly seeks the input from their team, provides the mentorship opportunities, and celebrates their successes and embodies the servant leadership. By empowering the team members and focusing on their development, the leader actually strengthens the overall team dynamics. Now, there are certain other leadership styles. The first is your democratic leadership. The leaders who encourage the team participation in decision making and value the collaborative problem solving, the EI helps them balance the diverse perspective, manage the conflicts, and fosters an inclusive environment. Let's take an example here. A project leader who organizes a brainstorming session and ensures every team member input is considered before making a decision. Then we move on to autocratic leadership. The leaders who make decisions independently, they often focus on the efficiency and control, while emotional intelligence may seem less prominent. Self-regulation and also the empathy, it helps the autocratic leaders communicate effectively and avoid any alienating their teams. Let's follow this with an example. A factory manager enforcing a very strict safety protocols to ensure the compliance and the productivity. The laissez-faire leadership. The leaders who provide the minimal guidance, allowing their team members the freedom to make decisions. The EI helps these leaders. It also assesses when to step in and provide a support to prevent a lack of direction. Let's take an example here. A tech startup founder trusting their engineers to design the innovative solutions without micromanagement. The charismatic leadership. The leaders who inspire and captivate others through their charm, energy, and confidence. The high emotional intelligence allows the charismatic leaders to influence others while managing their own emotions to avoid the over-dependency on the personal appeal. Again, let's take an example. A motivational speaker inspires an audience to pursue the personal growth and also the success. Now, each leadership style, what has been discussed as of now, it has its own particular strengths and also the challenges, and the effectiveness of a style often depends on the situation and the leader's emotional intelligence. By developing the key EI competencies such as empathy, social awareness, and the self-regulation, the leaders can adapt their style to meet the need of their teams and achieve the remarkable outcomes. Now, the leadership success, that is, what is the interconnection between the emotional intelligence and also the leadership effectiveness? This is a very important question now we will dive into. The leadership success is very deeply intertwined with the emotional intelligence, and the leaders with the high emotional intelligence, they excel in understanding the emotions, navigating the challenges, and fostering a very strong team dynamics. Let's explore how the emotional intelligence enhances the leadership effectiveness. Now coming on to the first, impact on communication. How the emotional intelligence helps. Emotional intelligent leaders are skilled communicators. They very clearly articulate their vision, actively listen to the feedback, and also build a very meaningful connection with their teams. Emotional intelligence enables the leaders to pick up on the non-verbal cues and adapt their communication style to suit the different situations. Now, why it matters is a question mark. Effective communication, it fosters the trust, ensures the alignment on the goals, and strengthens the team cohesion. Now, let's illustrate here. A leader presenting a new project idea listens to the team concerns, addresses them thoughtfully, and incorporates their suggestions, making everyone feel heard and also valued. The interconnection between the emotional intelligence and the leadership effectiveness, the second we are talking about here, is now the motivation and inspiration. Now, how emotional intelligence helps. The leaders with a high EI, they create a very positive and inspiring work environment. They understand what drives their team members, recognize the achievements, and also ensure everyone feel a sense of belonging. Now, coming on to why it matters. When the employee feel valued and motivated, they perform better, remain committed to the shared goals. Now, the example will be here very important we will discuss here. A leader notices a team member's consistent hard work and celebrates their contribution in a team meeting. Of course, it helps in boosting the morale of the team members and also further encouraging them to strive for excellence. The third important aspect which we are going to discuss is the conflict resolution. How the emotional intelligence helps. The emotional intelligence equips the leader to handle the conflicts by understanding the different perspectives, managing the emotions, their own and others, and finding the solutions that benefit all the parties. Now, coming on to why it matters. The skillful conflict resolution, it prevents the misunderstandings, builds the trust, and maintain a healthy work environment. Now, the example here, during a disagreement between the two employees, an emotionally intelligent leader listens to both sides, acknowledges their concern, and facilitates a compromise that meets their needs. Now coming on to decision making. The leaders with the EI, they consider the emotional impact of their decisions alongside the logical reasoning. Now this results in a very thoughtful, balanced and people-centric choices. Why it matters? Decisions that addresses both practical and emotional aspects fosters the trust and alignment with the team. Now, before implementing a major organizational change, a leader evaluates how it might affect the team morale and designs a communication plan to ease a transition. The build of trust and collaboration. How EI helps. Emotional intelligence promotes an open communication, empathy, and also the mutual respect. Now, these qualities, they build the trust and encourage the collaboration among the team members. Now, why it matters? Now, the team thrive in the environment where the trust and respect are prioritized, leading to a greater innovation and also the productivity. Now, an example, a leader regularly checks in with the team members, offers a support when needed, and also encourages the open dialogue, creating a culture of trust and the teamwork. Now, improving the emotional intelligence is a very continuous process that enhances the leadership skills. Now we are now going to discuss about the key strategies for the growth. The first is your self-assessment. Encourage the leaders to reflect on their emotions and behavior using the tools like EI assignments, journaling, or the feedback from the colleagues. A leader uses a 360-degree feedback tool to identify the areas for improvement in communication and the conflict resolution. The emotional literacy. The leaders can learn to identify the emotions, understand their triggers, and develop the healthy coping mechanisms. Now, let's take an example. Attending the workshops on emotional awareness, it helps the leaders recognize the stress and respond with the calmness instead of frustration. The mindfulness and the self-regulation. The techniques like mindful meditation, the deep breathing, and emotional regulation, it strategizes and helps the leaders stay composed in challenging the situations. Now, a leader practices the mindfulness daily, enabling them to remain calm and make a sound decisions during a crisis. Now, coming on to the empathy development, active listening perspectives, taking and building the genuine connections, they help the leaders strengthen their empathy. A leader listens attentively during one-to-one meetings and adjusts the workloads to support the employee who are actually facing the personal challenges is a very good example here in order to understand the empathy development. The fifth point what we are going to discuss now is a continuous learning. The leaders should engage in the workshops, coaching and mentoring to build their EI skills over the time. For example, a leader participates in a leadership development program focusing on communication, team building, and the self-awareness. The EI is like a hidden ingredient that elevates a good leader to a great one. Now let's break down into 5 essential components. So let's discuss this one by one. The first is your self-awareness. What it means? Understanding your own emotions, why not feel them, and how they influence your actions. It also involves the recognizing of how your emotion impacts the others. Now, why it matters for the leaders is again a question mark which needs to be elaborately answered. The self-aware leaders, they are very authentic, they are approachable, and they are trusted because they manage their emotions effectively. Now, a leader who feels frustrated about a missed deadline, he takes a moment to reflect, acknowledges their emotions, and approaches the situation calmly to find the solutions. The second is your self-regulation. Now, what it means? Managing your emotions and staying in control, especially in the high-pressure situations. Why it matters for the leaders? The self-regulation ensures the leaders they remain very calm, think very clearly, and handle the challenges very constructively. Let's take an example here. Instead of reacting with the anger to a mistake, a self-regulated leader says, let's figure out what went wrong and how we can improve the next time. The motivation. What it means? Having a very strong inner drive to achieve the goals and inspire others to do the same. It's about staying positive and resilient even when things get very tough. Now let's discuss the core components of the emotional intelligence in the leadership. Why it matters for the leaders. The motivated leaders uplift their teams, keeping them focused and energized. Let's take an example. Now, when a project hits a setback, a motivated leader encourages the team member by saying, we have overcome the challenges before. Let's work it out together. This time also to tackle the problems. The next is your empathy. That is what it means and why it matters for the leaders is again a question mark. Now, understanding and sharing the emotion of others. It's about seeing the things from their perspectives. The empathetic leaders, they build a very strong relationships, fosters the trust and create a very supportive environment. Let's take an example here also. When an employee is struggling with the personal issues, an empathetic leader offers the support and adjusts their workload to help them cope. Now coming on to the social skills. What it means: the ability to build and maintain the relationships, communicate effectively and resolve the conflict. Why it matters for the leaders? The strong social skills enable the leaders to bring people together, solve the disagreements and fosters the collaboration. Now let's take an illustration here. A leader facilitates a conversation between two team members in a conflict, helping them reach a mutual understanding and work together harmoniously. Emotional intelligence is a very cornerstone of effective leadership by developing and applying the EI skills such as self-awareness, empathy and the social skills. The leaders can inspire their leaders, resolve the conflicts and fosters the trust and the collaboration. Leadership is not just about managing the task, it's about connecting with the people to achieve the shared success. Now, definitely, these things are vital and important for a leader to understand, that why he has to understand the social skills, why he has to understand the relationship skills, and of course, there is too much of importance of emotional intelligence incorporated into the different leadership style to make a difference. And of course, by creating a very inclusive, welcoming environment, the leader can build an important and a very essential environment of trust and confidence, feel a part of being a team, inclusive environment which accelerates the integration and boosts them for the cohesion, the leader to better collaboration and also the quicker contributions. Of course, when the people feel that the environment in which they live in is very inclusive, is very, very participative, is very, very respectful, they will also come forward with their suggestions and they will be engaged and involved in the normal working of the organization. They will always feel motivated to give their best, to strive their best, to achieve their best, and the performance, motivation level, excellence will be on the pinnacle. And this is essentially what a leader, an emotional leader who's emotionally stable, is striving and taking the organization to a next level. So he has to manage the teams very, very effectively. He has to show the appropriate leadership style, inspire his team, and also apply a very important principle of communication, that is the open door policy, conflict resolution, collaboration, motivation, and create a very, very productive and a very, very positive environment to actually drive success and also taking the organization to the next level. And all these locks has only one key, that is the emotionally stable and intelligent leader who can actually create some magical effect to make the organization moving, to take the organization on the top. And so that is why we have a lot of importance of the emotional intelligence in the leadership styles. Although we have discussed a lot of number of leadership styles, but each has its own limitation, applicability, and which style will suit which leader and which organization is actually situational. So you have to actually intelligently equip yourself as a leader first in order to inspire, guide and support the team members, and then of course the things will follow and the environment will always be very, very successful and the work environment is always very, very engaging. Thank you very much.